Before we begin, we just want to make sure you subscribe to our channel because it's packed with lots of nutrients and vitamins. Don't forget to subscribe! Hi guys, welcome back to the Daily Vitamin. Today we are doing a soup blend off between these high-powered, high-speed Vitamix and Blendtech blenders. We are going to be testing to see which one of these blenders can blend soup the fastest, and we'll be also testing the temperature of each blender to figure out which one did the best job.
Yeah, that's right.
And so what we'll be doing is using the automatic soup mode feature on these blenders. Two of the blenders that we're using today don't have that mode, but you can use the manual mode on your blender if you don't have the automatic soup mode setting, and you'll run your manual mode for 3 to 6 minutes, and that will provide for a naturally hot soup.
The soups actually heat up naturally just from the friction of the blades. The Blendtech are able to go about 28,000 to 29,000 RPMs, and the Vitamix blenders can go about 37,000 RPMs. Now when you take the blades to that amount of speed in this confined small space, it basically causes natural heat to come off the blades. So the friction of the blades actually cooks and heats up soup. You can also make syrups and fondues the same way, but today we're doing a soup test. And then we're also going to show you guys the temperature that the soups get to after everything's cooked and heated.
I'm excited. Soup is one of my favorite things, and I'm excited to do the taste test. Let's do it!
Are you ready to go? So let's see what happens.
I'm so excited! Ready,
And
set,
go!
Newer Vitamix blender models come with the soup setting on the speed dial, which stops on its own. The Vitamix blender models offer a speed dial for more control over your blends. If your Vitamix doesn't have a soup setting, then just run it on manual speed 10 high. The Vitamix G Series soup setting runs for 5.5 minutes, and the Vitamix C Series soup setting runs for 6.5 minutes. You could stop the blender at any time to check the temperature of the soup. If you want the soup to be more hot, just keep running the blender.
steamy.
After 3 minutes, the Vitamix C Series and Vitamix G Series blenders got to around 110 degrees, and the Vitamix S Series got to around 95 degrees. To make the soup hotter, start the Vitamix blender again and let it run. The longer you run it, the hotter the soup will get. Making soup in your Vitamix is quick and easy, and the liquefied hot soup result is extremely healthy and makes a great on-the-go meal. Soups in a Vitamix blender take around 6 to 8 minutes to heat up thoroughly.
Steaming hot. You see that?
After 6 minutes, the temperature of the soups in the Vitamix C Series and G Series blenders reached around 150 degrees, and the S Series reached around 120 degrees.
Soup mode setting.
If you want the soup to be even hotter, just let it run for another 3 minutes.
It'll come out.
Blendtech offers two blender models, the Designer and the Classic. Blendtech blender models have easy-to-use digital push button and slide touch controls with automatic settings. Each blender model has the automatic soup button, which runs for 90 seconds and then stops. After only 3 minutes, both the Blendtech Designer and Blendtech Classic blender models were able to heat up the soup to around 120 degrees. The Blendtech blenders offer a unique digital style which adds a nice touch to your kitchen. The automatic buttons are designed for the consumers to be able to comfortably walk away from the machine without having to worry about stopping it. Blendtech blenders can quickly change speeds on their own and stop when they're ready. Blendtech blenders have a thick, dull blade which really kicks the hell out of everything inside the jar. And because the blade is backed with a 3 horsepower motor, it can overpower any ingredient you put into the jar. After 6 minutes of running the Blendtech Designer and Blendtech Classic blender models, the soup temperatures reached almost 170 degrees.
We found out that the texture and the taste were completely equal between the Vitamix and the Blendtech models. The only thing that was the difference was the heating. So basically the Blendtech models were able to heat up the soup a little bit quicker than the Vitamix models. That's most likely due because the Blendtech models offer a more powerful motor. The Designer has a 3.8 horsepower motor with 1725 watts. The Blendtech Classic has a 1560 watt 3.0 horsepower motor. And this only has a 2.2 and a 2 horsepower motor. The G Series has a 2.2 horsepower motor, and the Classic has a 2 horsepower motor. And the S Series has only a 1 horsepower motor. So the Vitamix blenders only have, they have a little less power in their motors, so it takes a little bit longer to heat up the soups. But
despite the differences in the horsepower of the motors, it was a really close running between the Vitamix and the Blendtechs, I would say.
Totally.
But not as much with the S50. But you can still get done the heat, you know,
you can still heat up the soup,
soup. Yeah.
You just have to run it for a little bit longer with the S series models because it only has a 1 horsepower motor.
Yeah.
So that's what we found out. The texture and the taste, though, is amazing in all 5 blender models. So whichever one you go with will be good. But this blend off, the Blendtechs win this blend off, but barely, just because they won the contest for who could heat soup the fastest.
That's right.
So, and that's all I got. You got anything else for him?
I do. If you haven't followed the Daily Vitamin yet, be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we wish you a beautiful day. Bye!